Hello, and welcome to Inside Tornado, Brevard's very own talk show where we invite very special student athletes to come and take a dive into their lives. My name is Alex Bolton. Actually, please hold on as we take a step inside the tornado. Today's tornado is a very special one. We have a category Winkler, inviting on today's senior softball number 9, Regan Winkler.
Hi.
How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Feeling a lot better.
A lot better. Yeah, we planned on doing this about a week ago, I believe, but it turns out really well that we're doing this now. The voice was gone.
It was gone. There was no voice. There was no speaking. There was no interview happening.
Yeah, you were dealing with a little bit of sickness. Now we're both here. I'm dealing with a little bit of the pollinator going on. Shout out to bees. Love y'all. We do need y'all, but if y'all can slow down a little bit so I can catch up. But all that being said, we ain't here for me and my pollination story. We are here for you today, Miss Regan. Before we get into it, there's a question I like to ask every single person that comes on here. And today is your turn to answer, Regan. Who is Regan Winkler?
Wow. I am Regan, but I don't know. I think Regan Winkler is someone who is slowly starting to find themselves and someone who loves to be surrounded by the people that I love, and I love to be outside. I love to, stay active, and I don't know, I enjoy a lot of things. So one big book.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part about asking that question is that nobody's answer is the same because nobody is the same, but also it reveals the fact that as people, oftentimes enough, we don't give ourselves the time to ask, who are we? And it's not like a issue. It's just a part of life. And this thing, like, your answer today, hopefully when you look back in 10 years, won't be the same.
Right.
I think that's a beautiful reality to this.
Yeah.
So it's awesome that we get to hear your answer in the beginning, but now it's time for you to kind of express, as we walk through everything about you, who Regan Winkler is. But before we get into that, the meat of everything, let's go ahead and hop into my favorite section of the interview, which is the game. Last week we had my boy Matthew Evans come on here from men's baseball, did an awesome job. But we played a game called What If. We got to learn a lot about him and his opinions and what he would do or what he would think about if he was put in those situations. And today I was like, I love the opinionated games. I like to know what people are thinking. So today we're going to do a little game called Debate Me.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I have 8 different topics for you, and you're going to have to choose a side on this. You're going to tell me whether you're for it or against it, but you got to tell me why.
Okay.
So today you are going to debate me, and I'm not going to go against you because I fear that if I actually had to debate back, I ain't gonna lie, my opinions, I might cap. I might even feel a certain way about it, but I'm gonna feel a way about it today. But today's about you. We wanna know how you feel about it. So you're gonna debate me. Are you ready, Miss Winkler?
I guess I am.
Topic number 1. Discipline beats motivation every time. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think discipline is honestly what kind of grows with motivation. I think if you don't have discipline, then you have nothing to really look forward to.
And if I can even nudge a little bit further, in your own life, how do you think that might apply?
I think with our game that we play, as a softball player, it takes a lot of discipline, right? You can't go up to bat and be like, I'm swinging at every single pitch, right? You have to make sure that you swing at a pitch that's in your zone. You have to make sure that you're going to swing at a pitch that's going to give you the success that you want. Same thing within the field. Like, if I have no discipline, I go out there, I'm just diving every which way. I don't care where I'm throwing the ball. Like, without discipline, there's no motivation to want to succeed, I think.
I'll take that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Good answer for topic 1. I'm excited here because I'm ready to get to the end. I got some really good ones here.
Oh, no.
But for number 2, confidence matters more than talent. Where do you stand?
Wow, these are like hot topics. Okay. Confidence matters more than talent. I think I don't really agree with that one. I think that you have to have a little bit of talent in order to have confidence. I think you can absolutely fake it till you make it.
Yes.
But I think in order to have a little bit of confidence, you have to have a little bit of talent.
Okay.
Because I think if you don't have any talent, you're like, ugh, oh no.
Because what's there to be confident about?
Exactly. You don't have any talent. You don't have anything to be confident about. Yeah, I think that's where I stand with that.
And I think the reason that question is so, it's like the thing of you got to have something to back you up there, because you can walk up there and have nothing and it's like it don't mean anything.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's that aspect of like it's better to walk up and have some type of weapon to show with nothing in it than to have no weapon at all.
Exactly. Because I can come up there and be like, I'm going to hit this ball. I'm not going to hit it because I have no talent. Yeah.
So I definitely can agree. But confidence definitely has, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't believe that it's going to work, then the talent won't be able to be applied.
100%. You know? I do agree with that, yeah.
So it's definitely one of those things as well. It's like a speaker who may have the best words to use and all stuff, but if they get up there and they don't trust themselves to get up there and be able to use that ability, it won't mean anything.
Absolutely.
Especially get stuttering all over yourself.
Exactly. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yep. You may have a great message, but I can't hear you over the
yeah. And then I don't know what you're saying.
100%. So I definitely got to agree with you on that, though. I definitely is probably where I would stand. But for this one, I feel like we might have a little bit of a contradiction here.
Oh, no.
Question 3, it has, your circle determines your future more than your ability.
My circle, as in, like, my people I surround myself with?
Almost, you know how people say, show me your friends, I'll show you your future?
Right.
That type of statement. It's like, so does your circle determine your future more than your own abilities? Where do you stand?
I think your circle has a very big part of what your future looks like, right? Like, if you don't surround yourself with the right amount of people and the people that share similar goals with you, I don't think that you'll be able to have the future that you want or that you're striving for. Like, if I were to surround myself with a lot of negativity and a lot of things that, like, take away from what I want for myself, I don't think that that would benefit me at all. So I guess I kind of disagree that, or I think that your circle does benefit or, like, affect your future. Yeah.
It's almost like the aspect of people say, iron sharpens iron thing.
Yeah.
You want to be careful because, like, you can have all the abilities, but what if the people around you dull your ability to grow in those things?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And what I've kind of learned over time is, like, even then, like, definitely your circle matters, but maybe it's less about, like, it's the amount of time you spend with people too.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I can get that, yeah.
Because, like, it's good. You can have friends from all different sorts of backgrounds, but it's like how much time you spend probably matters more than the fact you spend time anyway.
Absolutely. And I think even saying that, like, we all have, I think, different circles, right? Where it's like, I have, like, my softball circle. I have my outside of softball circle. I have, like, my work circle or whatever that looks like. But depending on what I want to do and what my goals are depends on, like what you said, how much time I spend with each circle. And I think that's very important to look at.
100%.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you're trying to get motivated for softball season, your friends who may not be into athletics and sports, there's only so much motivation they can give you to get better at that sport.
Absolutely.
Then you get back around those people who are working hard, and you can see it's like, I got to get better.
Exactly. I got to go back in this circle so that way I can work for myself. Yeah.
100%. On that, I definitely have to say I would definitely agree with that as well.
Yeah.
So topic 4, this is going to kind of get into some new age stuff. This is definitely more our generation.
Okay.
How would you say texting has ruined real communication?
I have such strong opinions on this. Our generation is very much like, we were raised with, like, electronics, like cell phones, iPads, all the things. But I think growing up, I was always taught that you look people in the eye, right? Like, you talk to people, all of, like, the sort of, like, old, I guess now it's, like, old school respect things. But I think, like, it has truly ruined some ways of communication because I think people get so used to, like, almost hiding behind a screen. And even, like, with conflict situations, right, where it's like, I can text how I feel about this, but when I come face to face with you, like, I'm not able to truly feel how, like, or I'm not able to truly tell you how I feel because for our entire generation, we've always been behind screens. And I think that honestly will affect us, like, in the workforce because it's like, you can't always just text your boss, like, hey, I know we're supposed to have a meeting, but I want to text you instead because, like, that's just not going to work.
No, you can come to my office.
Right, exactly. Like, we can talk face to face, but, yeah, I think that it's definitely affected the way that our generation communicates.
I feel like for me, the biggest difference I've noticed in some part of my life, but just from other people as well, is the lack of ability to conversate in real time, like you said. Like
100%.
I'm someone who hates quiet, and I know I'm trying to work on that. Like there's a time for silence, but it shouldn't be there need to be a time for silence because no one knows how to speak.
Exactly. You don't know how to feel the silence. Yes. Yeah.
And that's my thing. Like, cause it's what makes my friends is the fact that when there's nothing going on, we got something going on.
100%.
Because we can talk to each other.
Yes.
And we don't have to reach for our phones. I can't stand that. that. Like, I love the friends that you, like, put your phone down and you forget you ever had it with you.
Yep.
And I think that we've lost that in real time. The ability just to be able to conversate. And also, like, I remember there's, like, for couples and friends, like, you can go periods of time back in the day where you couldn't text your people.
Exactly.
It was when I see you, I see you.
Right.
And then we were talking.
Yes.
Nowadays, it's almost like there's no need to get together anymore.
Exactly.
And also, like, there's this, like, social anxiety. I don't know how to be separate.
Yes.
And it's, like, one of those rough things because, like, that's what I think I really deal with in real time. It's, like, how do you be separate when you're always connected? And it's hard.
Yeah, I think that definitely, I see that a lot, especially with my younger sister, right, where, like, you know, it'll be, like, almost like an awkward silence, right, but the first thing she does is pull out that phone.
Yes.
And she's, like, always, you know, da-da-da-da, but it's, like, something else that I really, like, gets under my skin is when I go out to dinner or something, right, and it's, like, you look around the restaurant and you see how many people are just sitting at dinner on their phones, like, there's no conversation happening, and it's, like, then why are you going to dinner?
Yes.
You know, right?
You could have
like,
ordered takeout, go back home, and
exactly.
you can sit on your phone right there.
You can watch a movie on the screen. You can sit on your phone at home. Like, go out to dinner and have a conversation.
And it's almost like we're losing value in the people that we're spending that time with.
Yes, 100%.
That's what it really is, I guess, for me. And I'm trying to learn, like, as the new age goes forward, how do we learn to manage both of those?
Yes.
And I feel that definitely probably say that's probably the one I'm probably the most opinionated on.
Me too.
But this next one connects actually perfect with this.
Okay.
Because number 5 says social media has made dating worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I think truly, like, I don't know, I think that kind of goes along with, like, the communication aspect, right, where it's, like, on social media, you know, you can, like, slide in someone's DMs or whatever that looks like, you know, where it's like, hey, you look really nice, like, oh my gosh, and then you start Snapchatting, you start texting, but it's like, could you imagine a world where, like, this happens and you feel like you have this really great connection with someone and you go on a date, which I feel like is a very, like, rare thing in our generation. I feel like dates are, like, or, like, going out with a significant other is, like, very rare, but it's, like, imagine going out and, like, you're meeting this person and you're just like this. Hey, like, that's awful. That's horrible. Yeah, no, I think that social media definitely has had impacts on, like, relationships and that aspect of things.
Because now it's like, now you got people stalking follower accounts.
Right.
And
Snap scores.
Like, and it's tough, though, because, like, because being a part of this generation, I understand. And it's like, because I'm like, why are you following
Yes,
them,
I love to check the following list.
Because it's like, same time, it's like, do you got to?
Yes,
but
right.
You don't.
But you don't.
But why do we? And
Exactly.
And those questions you got to ask yourself. And it's like, it's so much to all that. And it's just like, it's complicated things that don't got to be complicated.
Yes, exactly. Because it's like, oh my gosh, like, I am obsessed with looking at, like, the Snap score. Like, back in the day, I remember, like, going to the Snap score and, like, I would, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't say this, but, like, I would, like, write it down in my notes, right, where I'm, like, 1,000 something, and it's, like, I'd go back and check it and be like, oh, 2,000, oh, my gosh.
No way, it just went up 0.05.
Right, and, like, knowing that, like, a Snap is, like, 2 and, like, a chat is 1, like, that's just crazy talk, but, you know.
Knowing the statistics behind it is
the
nuts.
statistics is like, quick little Google search, how many does it go up, right?
So you've been snapping. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh, okay, I see. You sent me 1 snap, so where do the other 40 come from?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's real, but that's the day we live in.
Yes.
And it's like, it's funny because, like, we all get that in our age, and it's just like, what is it going to be for the generation behind us? What is it going to be there?
Terrifying.
You know?
Horrible.
Like,
I can't imagine.
And so the question, like, is it really getting better or worse? I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it will get worse because I can't imagine.
It makes people not want a parent.
No.
Oh, gosh. That being said, though, for topic number 6, I think this one is something that I think you're definitely going to agree with it, but I like to hear your reasoning for why. Because topic number 6 says peace is more valuable than money.
Yeah, I think that in the world we live in, something that is very commonly said, right, is like, you need money. You need money to survive. You need money to do this. You need money, 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 money. But I think without peace, like without true, like, inner peace, right, like you are able to come home wherever that looks like, or you're able to, after a long day, like come back to your house or your place and like take a deep breath, right, and be like, okay, I'm happy, I'm content with my life. Like, I don't think you have to be a millionaire or a billionaire to achieve true peace, and I think that's something that our generation gets lost in, is like, you know, I think that our generation is very driven, and I think that, you know, like that comes from our parents wanting better, right? Like everyone, you know, is like, I want my kid to be better than I am. But that doesn't necessarily mean, like, I want my kid to have all of the money that I didn't have. I think that's, like, you need peace in order to be truly happy and truly, like, successful, in my opinion.
Yes.
So I don't think money brings peace. I don't think money brings anything but stress.
And because you gotta think, we think so much about the outcome, but what about what you gotta put in to get it?
100%.
It's about all the time. Like,
Yes.
And we live in a day and time now where, like, sadly, there's so many resources that can kind of do the job for us.
Right.
But realistically, like, a lot of people who have made something for themselves don't get to enjoy it until they're older.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not
the
fun.
lifestyle. Yeah, that's not the lifestyle I want to live. I don't want to, work my entire life and then finally when I'm older and I can't really travel or I can't, go out and do the things that I could have when I was young, I don't want to have to be like, wow, now what, Like, I want to enjoy that as I grow older and, as I work hard. But I think that's something that our generation, like, gets really lost in.
Yeah, you have all this money for vacation and you get there and you can't even enjoy it because you're so thinking about when I return back to work.
Exactly, 100%, yeah.
Is that really peace?
Right, I don't think so.
Yeah, so 100%. I definitely have to agree with that the conversation. That being said, though, it's also good to have a little bit of money and peace.
It is, it's good.
It's like, where can you find that middle ground?
Right.
Is the question. And I think, like, everybody has to ask themselves, like, how much peace am I willing to give up for money and how much money am I willing to give up for peace?
100%.
It's a good question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
That being said, we have 2 more topics left, so we're going to try and get through these, but take your time with them.
Okay.
Because this 7th topic says, most people care too much about what others think.
Ooh. Yeah, this is honestly like a life lesson, I think, right? Like, for the longest time, I think I really, really stressed about how I was, like, viewed as, like, how other people viewed me, right? Like, I was worried about what clothes I wore. I was worried about what people thought of me. I was worried about, all of the things that, like, now taking a step back and me being in, like, my senior year on the field and being a captain for 2 years, I think my junior year, I really worried about being the best version of myself I could be, but to other people. I never really thought about what's going to make me happy. Like, what can I lay my head down on my pillow at night and be okay with instead of being a people pleaser, right? And that's, like, my number one, like, area of work, I think. I've always been a people pleaser, and I've always worried about, what does this person think of me? Or, like, does this person think I'm a bad person or a terrible captain or whatever that looks like? And I think this year I've really taken a step back, and I've been like, you know what? Every decision that I've made has benefited myself and other people, but most importantly, like, I'm okay with this. So I think that's definitely something I've struggled with, but I think it's something that I've learned how to control a lot better.
But I definitely think, like, this is the age where you have to learn that out for yourself the most. Because I think most young people deal with that. Either I think you grow up extremely narcissistic,
yes,
or you grow up way too worried.
Right.
Kids don't understand a balance.
Yes.
So because there comes that time where you have to learn to prioritize yourself without getting in the way of other people's lives, but also learning not to be all up in everybody else's lives to the point you don't got one for yourself.
Correct. You can't even think about what you're doing because you're worried about what so-and-so thinks about you or what so-and-so is doing with what you said or what you did. But, yeah.
Because it's like that thing where it's like you got work in the next 15 minutes. You got somebody who's behind you in line. Do you let them, or do you let them jump you because you want to be kind? You know what I'm saying? Or do you? I gotta hurry up and get to work. It's one of those tough things where it's like you got your own things to take care of, but you also want to be kind. You got to kind of figure out and balance out. Because I know there's been times where I'm like, I would love to do a nice duty right now, but I have something I have to do.
But I don't have the time for it.
Yes. Time and place is so important.
It is.
But it's like it's one of those things where it's like same time. There's some days though where it's almost worth it.
Yes.
But you got to be able to decide when is it the right time.
Correct. Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
So 100%, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
But this last one makes me want to laugh a little bit because there's a phrase in here that makes me want to laugh. Because your boyfriend and one of our close friends used to always say, Alex is a thief of joy. But number 8 says, comparison is the biggest thief of joy today. Would you agree?
Comparison is...
I miss my friend.
Oh. Wow, what a character he is. But I think I can agree with that. I think comparison is like a big fault, especially in our generation with social media. I think that it's so easy to, as a woman to get on social media, right? And I'm looking, and like the first thing on my feed is like a super fit girl who's like, you know, like really fit. She looks great. Her hair looks great. And it's like, that's hard to look at and then come in the mirror and look at myself, right? Or like any woman, or, you know, even men struggle with this too, right? Where it's like all of these different body types and all of these different like people that really aren't you. But coming back after looking at that or seeing that, or, you know, looking at the 1 million likes or 1 million comments that they have, and then looking at my feed or looking in the mirror and being like, well, I don't look like that. Maybe that's why I don't have 1 million likes. But I think that something we have to learn is that I think comparison is like a silent killer, right? Where it's like it truly affects you more than you think, especially with, I think, our generation, the way that social media impacts us. But yeah, I think that comparison is a bad thing, and I don't think you should ever compare yourself to anyone, which I'm guilty of, especially, you know, as an athlete too, right? Where it's like, you know, we always talk about stats and we talk about who's doing the best and who's leading in this, but like it's so easy to get caught up and wrapped in that, where it's like, I might not be doing this, but she is. So like, how do I get to where she is? Instead of like sitting with my successes and my hard work and accepting that and knowing that I'm getting exactly what I worked for and exactly what I deserve. And some people do better than that and some people don't. And that's okay. That's just the way that the world works.
That might be one of the best words. Sitting with my successes is exactly what I think. Like that's the entirety of what I think we have to learn. And even with myself, it's like we all have goals that we set for ourselves. So let your own goals be what you're chasing.
Yes.
Not like basing your goals off other people, but based off what you want for yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
And off who you are. You know, like learn to sit with your own successes.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest things. It's hard to in a world where everybody else is doing theirs right in front of your face.
100%.
Social media and so on. It's all in front of you.
Yep.
Like it's hard for me to be happy. Like, oh my gosh, I just bench 330. Then you got Brevard college football, Bernard Wirt sitting there benching 5,000 pounds
for 17 reps.
You know,
right?
You're sitting there like, well. Oh, no, literally, I'm sitting there scrolling the other day. I'm like, man, you know, I got 330 bench max. I just benched 300 the other day for 2 reps. Failed the 3rd rep. We won't talk about that. But I'll pull up on Instagram, Bernard's benching 315 for 20 reps. I'm like, you know what?
You're like, oh, exit out. Time to go to bed.
I'll sit with my success. But I'm sitting here thinking, well, he just did too. That's just crazy.
Right.
You know? But it's one of those things, too. It's like, but can I be happy with what I've done for myself, too?
Exactly.
It's definitely one of the biggest things. But you know, let's go ahead and get into now learning about a little bit about your success story, a little bit about you. Let's learn to sit with your successes here.
Yep.
You are a born and raised North Carolinian.
I am.
Up here now in the mountains, but you're from Valdez, North Carolina. So tell me a little bit about that. I've actually never heard anything about Valdez before this. Tell me a little bit about growing up there and a little bit about your town, city, where you're from.
Yeah, so I think I went to high school in a very small town called, Valdez, North Carolina. It's right outside of Hickory, where my home is in an even tinier place. It's called Eichard, North Carolina. It's like 10 minutes away from Valdez. But I think it's very small town vibe, right? Like everyone knows everyone. I grew up with all my neighbors. I went to school with people that live 5 minutes down the road from me, and I think coming to college and realizing that people went to school with like people they never talked to was very crazy to me, because even in like high school, I graduated with 100 people, right? And I knew every single one of their names. I had a conversation with all of them. So it's very small town and very, very country, my growing up, my grandparents had all of this land and all these animals and stuff. And that was just like a very common theme, I think, was just like out there, But very small. And I think, you know your neighbors and you know everything about it, which can also be a negative in some aspects, right? Where it's like everyone's all up in your business sometimes. And it's like, because social media is such a broad world, but like when you all live in the same county and you live 5 minutes away from each other, it's like, wow, I just saw Regan walking outside yesterday. I wonder what's going on. It's
Who
just
needs social media.
Exactly 100%. And that's what I feel like. I look out the window, I see my graduating class, right? Like we're all very small town, everyone knows everyone. So it has its perks and it also has its negatives. So
and Brevard has strong links to the Hickory area.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. Some of the people you can think on top of your head who go here that you kind of known, seen around. What's that like? Kind of seeing them at home, that come from you're here.
It's weird because in high school, middle school, I went to Eastburg, right, and that's where I live. That's around the place where my house is, and then when I got into high school, I transferred to drone. So, like, I know both sides, right?
Yeah.
And I know a couple people from East Burke go here, and it's, like, always because they're rivals.
Yes.
So it's always like, oh, my gosh, like, you went to drone. Drone is so bad. And I'm just like, well, from my point of view, East Burke is really bad, right? So it's, like, it's weird to see, you know, certain people here. And even, like, Burke County is, like, the county that I was from and that I am from. And there's a lot of schools in Burke County and even outside of Burke County that we play. And there's even like people from the other schools that I know that go here. And it's like so strange, like seeing people, you know, like different people like that play sports or either don't play sports. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know where you're from. Like, or even, you know, some people I grew up with, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, like this is insane that we're like pretty much grown now, and you know, I knew you when we were 8 years old, right? Like it's interesting for sure.
It's like it's all coming full circle.
100%, yeah.
And now it's time where it's like, okay, I remember us as kids. Now we're all about to leave here together.
Right. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I never thought, you know, being a senior in high school, I would graduate and end up in Brevard, where like a lot of my hometown is at currently. You know, it's so strange to sit back and be like, wow, I know a lot of people here from past times of my life.
So speaking a little bit about your past times in life, just being younger, growing up, what are some things you were really passionate about when you were younger? Things that I might have kind of fallen off that, you know, I don't really care for that as much anymore, but you thought that's where you're going to be? And what are some things that you still hold on to from childhood now that you're passionate about?
I think this is, I don't know, kind of funny. I think when I was little, I had always had like 3 career goals, right? You know, when you're little and your parents are like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Number 1, I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
Number 2, I wanted to work at the McDonald's drive-thru. I wanted to be a McDonald's drive-thru worker. That was my career goal.
I wanted to be a lifelong drive-through goer. I want to just drive through and buy. We would have been best friends.
We would have been good. We would have been good friends. We would have been good friends. Yeah, and then the third one, I wanted to be a nurse. So I think, honestly, up until I got to Brevard, I wanted to be a nurse and I wanted to go into pediatrics, right? And my grandmother had cancer when I was about 12 years old, and she unfortunately passed from that. But going to the cancer hospitals in Winston-Salem and seeing how that worked and seeing how well taken care of she was by the staff and the nurses and everyone, that really pushed me to want to go into like pediatric, because I knew I've always loved working with kids, and that's something that I've definitely held on to. But working with cancer hospital patients, you know, with pediatrics and children and stuff, and that's kind of switched a little bit now because, you know, I think as I've gotten older and more emotional, I don't think that's the career path for me. I don't think that I would be able to come home and not carry it home with me.
Yeah.
But I think now I still have a very strong passion of wanting to work with children, because I think that kids can be so great, and I think that they just really need the right people to make them great, right? And I think that there's so many children out there that don't have the luxuries that, you know, like we have growing up, or, you know, certain people have. And I think that that's so important to just be like an advocate in children's lives that don't have some things that they need. And that's just kind of the career path that I've always held on to.
So that being said, you're a psychology major here, correct?
Yes.
So with that understanding, so obviously you have a really big love for children and how they're growing up, what's affecting them in their lives. So what is your goal to do with that major, with the specific career path, and how you're going to do that?
I think there's so many career paths in psychology. It's a huge field, right? There's always somebody that needs help some way, you know? And I think that's where I fell in love with it, was realizing that it's such a broad field and you can help so many different people from so many different walks of life. And I think what I'm really interested in now is clinical psychology in adolescents and children. So that is just sort of, you know, like talking with kids and, you know, like figuring out diagnoses and things like that, you know, like even if nothing's wrong, you know, like also clinical psychologist is just like someone who works in a clinical setting. So that can be very broad as well, right? Private practices, hospitals, you know, anything. And there's certain things that you can, you know, specifics, right? Where it's like if I want to look at like the brain, like there's a different field for that. But I think I want more of like a one-on-one thing, right? Where I sit down and, you know, talk with these kids and figure out like what's going on with them, because I think that that's really, really important, you know, to make sure that they are healthy and they're safe moving forward so they can succeed in life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so you talk about that, about your goal to have an impact on younger children, going down the line, using that career path. Think about people in your life. Who are some of the people that you would accredit with the woman you've come out to be and who you're turning into as you look back growing up? Who would those people be in your life?
Yeah, I think my dad is, the first person that comes to my mind, right, where it's like he raised me and my little sister to be very, very strong people and be people that, advocate for ourselves, right, where it's like you are yourself and you have to be proud of that, like no matter what comes across you. And growing up, just like having my dad I think the saying's like give us a backbone or something, right, where it's like, he just raised me and my little sister to be very strong women and know our place in the world. And also, with that being said, like know that there is a place for us in the world, but also on the flip side, like teach us that nothing is given to you in this life, right? Like you have to work for everything. You have to go out there and put yourself out there, and you have to work hard, or else you won't have what you want and the successes that you want. And I think another like push for me is my little sister. I say little, she's 16, but she's always little to me,
Yes.
But I think being a good role model for her is what drives me a lot, because I think that she looks up to me in ways that I might not even know, right? A simple text or whatever that looks like she might need me to say something that I think is just whatever, but she might just want to hear from me.
Yes.
And she plays softball too, so I think being a role model on the field and off the field is something that I carry very like heavy with me. I think that being someone that is a positive person for her to look up to is what she needs. So, yeah, she really drives me a lot.
Yeah, I definitely can understand as well. Like, especially when you say the little things that they notice that you may not even realize they're paying attention to.
Right.
Because my brother is like 17 years old. And like I went back home over the weekend. I was like, dude, he sounds like me. Like,
is it not crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's crazy. And it's like, my parents always say, he looks at you more than you know. And you have no idea the impact that you have on him or on her, and what they're doing, like how they feel about you. So it's like, you got to be careful with every step you take.
Exactly. Like if I'm, Bailey will come to my games or whatever that looks like. She's watching me play, growing up. And it's like, I like to say I'm myself's biggest critic, right? Like I think a lot of athletes think that we are ourselves' biggest critic.
Yes, we should.
But there's a moment in time, right, where I get upset or I get irritated because I'm like, this is not the result I wanted. But I have to take a step back in the same breath, like, and be like, Bailey's watching me, right? Like, she's watching me. I have to teach her that it's okay to be frustrated with what we don't, like, with what we do that's not what we imagined or what we pictured. But we also have to realize, like, we're human. No one is going to do everything perfectly throughout their entire life, or, like, there would be no problem in the world, right? So it's like taking a step back and realizing that she is looking up to me still in this moment, and I have to, hold my head high to show her that that's what she's going to do one day.
And so with the things that you've been doing to be a good role model, not only for her, but also just to be the person that you're trying to be, you came here coming from a JUCO, but you didn't just come and have an impact in softball, but you also have been doing little things around campus. We know the roles you have, but I want you to just give you a moment to talk about what are some of the things that you've got involved with since you've been here at Brevard College.
Yeah, I think, coming from a JUCO, it's very different. At Caldwell, we lived off campus. There was no on-campus housing. I lived at home, and my teammates, they lived in, like, houses or whatnot. So coming here and being, I was talking with the campus life staff, Christy Cobble, and Coach Emily, or, Emily White. We were talking through some things, and they were like, I think your personality and the way that you are, I think you'd be a great RA. And me, I was like, RA, what does that even mean? Like, what is that? So I think really stepping into that role has helped me grow a lot as a person and expand my circle to people that, maybe I wouldn't have talked to on a daily basis if I hadn't been put in that position. But I've had a great 3 years being an RA and now senior RA in the Villages, and I think that has definitely been one of my favorite experiences. And then this year I got a new title for campus life, which was Student Assistant Director of Housing, which deals with, conduct and doing certain things with the housing staff, like, housing, all of the things, roommates, all that good stuff. But that's something I found really, really interesting and to take up a lot of time, but it was like a learning opportunity of, like, there are different things it's like a different scenario every day. I go in there, I don't know what I'm going to be doing today, but it's like adjusting very quickly and learning a lot more than I thought I would learn. Yeah, I think that those are my two probably favorite experiences that I've had here.
And that's great. It's awesome that you were given that opportunity. Not only is like, because I think the toughest thing about transferring is the unsurety of where you're going and what's going to happen when 100%. You get there. Because like you kind of know what it was like where you were, and then so it's like for like freshmen coming into college, there's that uncertainty, but it's like you've never experienced anything else, so you don't have like a basis to base things off of.
Right.
But you had an experience, so it's interesting that you had a place that invited you in. And was like, we got a spot for you if you want it.
Yeah.
And it's only grown since you got here.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely amazing. But then hopping into the softball aspect of things, you hit a 391 at bat while you were there at Caldwell during your time in JUCO those 2 years. Then you came here in your first 2 years here. You played 63 games overall. You're still adding games to that total now. Hopefully we'll be able to add so many more before the season ends. Pulling up to the end of that. But the question I wanted to ask you is, what was the leading decision that made you say, when I take my talent somewhere else, Brevard is the place that's going to match my experience at Caldwell?
Yeah, I think it was honestly really, really scary, right? Where it's like I'm stepping into unknown territory, right? Where it's like I am going from living at home and driving to campus and having, a full-time job as well, and like I'm taking all of this and what I've known for pretty much my entire life, right, into something where I'm not right down the road from home, I mean, I'm closer than I know some people are, but it's like very different. And I think I was very scared, right? I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know like the process or anything like that. But I think my first meeting here with Coach Bree and listening to her goals and what she had in mind for her program, I thought, within the first 5 minutes of our conversation, I just like had this gut feeling where I was like, these goals align with mine perfectly, right? Like I have always been a part of winning programs. Like in high school, my high school was really, really great in softball. Like Caldwell, we went to regionals, was a game away from the World Series. Like, and then coming here and looking at, it's hard to see, like they haven't had the most success. They've had some, but like nothing like what I've came from. But hearing her goals and what she has in mind, and like knowing the person that I am and the player that I am, and knowing that I can spend 3 years here on the field and really like help impact the program, and I can play here with confidence that like my coaches are always going to have my back. I think that's what truly like drove me in my final decision of like I'm coming to Brevard. But yeah, I think our goals really aligned, and they're great people. So I think I like to say that I'm pretty good at like picking people out pretty soon, and within the first 5 minutes I was like, oh, this is my future home, right? Awesome. Like this is perfect.
And you talked a little bit about those goals that were in alignment and kind of success that they were hoping to see that really brought you in to say, okay, this is interesting to me. This year has been statistically a much better year. Specifically out of conference is where that play really came in to be. Now y'all are in the conference stretch and working hard to make that final push to see can we do something that's never been done before in softball history here. Tell me a little bit about this year's team. You just lost some really strong seniors last year, and this year we're looking to lose some really important seniors on and off the field, some really good people in this class. Kind of talk to me about that and what makes this team a little bit different that kind of push for that success.
Yeah, I think they're, when you're on the field with your teammates, a lot more than what people see on game day, right? Like we're out there every single day for however long that takes. We're in the fall and like at the beginning of season, we're in the weight room, we're, conditioning, working out, we're doing all these things, and it's like the chemistry that you feel in those moments and the talent that you can see, right? Like it's like the trust I think that we have in each other as well, it's just unmatched. Like I think it doesn't even compare. Like on game day I know we look solid, but it's like in practice every single day I think that feeling the chemistry and feeling like all of the positivity and like seeing like, oh my gosh, like everyone is so good at what they do, right? Like everyone has a role in this team, and I think that's a really big and really important part is like all the roles that people fill like completely, right? Where it's like you might not do this but you're perfect at this, or you're perfect at this but you might struggle in this, but then you have this person who's going to pick you up there. And I think picking each other up and knowing our roles is something that really, really impacts our team. And I think that's why we have so much chemistry and so much like talent. It's been 3 years since I've seen a team this talented, you know? So
Yeah.
I think in the chemistry, I know I keep saying it, but it's insane, you know, like how when you go out in the field and I don't even have to really like turn and look and communicate with my infielder, my outfielder, my pitcher, because we're all in the same wavelength. Where it's like we know the goal of this pitch or the goal of this inning, and it's like we just can get it done because we're all on the same page. And I think that's really special and important, and I think that's why we have seen so much success this year.
And it's interesting, too, because oftentimes when you hear about chemistry being that high, you have a team that has like 10, 7 seniors. You're
Right.
talking about only 3 seniors
Right.
in this year's class.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a team with very little like chemistry being a time thing, very little from being a time-oriented
Right.
position for this team. That's really interesting to hear.
Yeah.
And why that's been attributed to the success that y'all are having as a team. But now getting into a more specific thing, this is your senior year. As you being one of the 3 seniors on the softball team, you were having a career high at bat. 441 is what you're hitting, and you just crossed the 100 hit threshold. So quick shout out to you.
Thank you.
For that. So this being your senior year, what is it that you are looking to leave out there? I mean, I know because every time you strap up, get ready to go play, I know that's what's on your mind. It's like, this is the last time I play this team this
Yeah.
many times. So what is that you want to leave before you go?
I think I definitely see, as weird as it sounds, I definitely see a younger version of myself in a lot of my teammates, especially the freshmen and sophomores. And, you know, I think our senior and junior class are very tight-knit, and I still see some of, like, my younger self in some of those girls as well. But I think leaving a mark of, like, you can do this, right? Where it's like, our sport is so frustrating. When we play a sport that is, like, 90% of the time you're failing,
Yeah.
right? It's very, very hard to understand that and to sit with that, right? And be like you could go over, right? But it's like you could go 1,000 one day and the next day you can go over, or you can make 0 errors and 20 amazing plays, and the next day you can get 1 error and no other plays. And it's just like such a roller coaster. And I think something I want to leave behind is definitely like a positive outlook on it, and just to really be where our feet are, right? I think that's so important, and I think that it's important to take a step back from the big moments and, you know, all of the moments that happen so quickly in our game, and just like really appreciate that we get to be out there and we have the talent that we all have shown, right, to be at the D3 level, to be here at Brevard. Like, we're all here for a reason. You know, we wouldn't be here if we couldn't do it. And I think just like realizing that, you know, it's okay to take a deep breath. It's okay to get upset, but to move forward, right? To continue to be positive and continue to know that just because I made an error this play, I'm going to get another play. Just because I didn't hit this at bat, I'm going to get another at bat, right? And especially, you know, like for the juniors and sophomores and freshmen, like they get 3, 4, and 3, 2, and 1 more years of full at bats, right? Like you guys, you've got plenty of time. It's going to be okay. But I think for me, that's something I've definitely struggled with a little bit this season, is feeling like I want to be where my feet are, but things are moving so quickly, and it's like I only have 4 more games guaranteed, right? And it's like I have to do this, I have to do that. But I think just taking a moment and being like, I'm going to do this first, right? I'm going to go through this game first. I'm going to go through this at bat first. So I think just slowing down is something that's really important in our game.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And as you kind of stress there, the aspect of being where your feet are, it also, like, I kind of hear you talk about how, like, with time, there is a little bit of grace that comes with that, being able to tell yourself, like, hey, I got 3, 2, 1 more year, like, enjoy this, but also understand, like, there's time for improvement along with that. But also with your situation, like, there's a little bit of an urgency as well, because it's like, I understand I only have so much longer to get it right, but it's like there's still grace for me too, even in the fact that it's my last go around.
100%,
you know?
yeah.
And that's good to hear, because it's like that's that balance we were speaking about earlier about being able to balance the ability of anything in life. Just have
Right.
that. There's highs and lows where it's that perfect point where I
Absolutely.
can enjoy both.
Yeah.
That all being said, though, I kind of want to ask you a little bit to reflect and to reminisce a little bit on your time here and some of the values and the memories that you have here at Brevard that have kind of made it what it is for you as a softball player. The things that when you look back, those are the fondest thoughts and memories that you're going to always hold with you about Brevard softball.
Yeah. I think it's super, super important to, carry all the memories and, successes with us and all the good things. But I think something that I've realized, in my 14 million years of playing softball is it is so important to carry your losses and your failures as well. I think now, I'm not saying that you should carry it every day and be like, oh, I remember 14 years ago when I struck out. No.
Yeah.
But I mean, never really forget your losses, right? And I think that can drive you to be great and do great things if you remember the times that hurt, right? Like last year, I carry that with me all the time, right? Where it's like our last home game, we had to sweep the team that we played in order to give our chance a shot in going to post-series or post-conference. Yeah, and I think I take that into every game with me this year of, we have to keep pushing, right? We don't want to be in that same situation where it's like we hope everyone else loses. We want to win, and we want to do what we can do to get to the next point. But I think memories-wise, oh gosh, there's so many, right, where it's like I met some of my very best friends. I met my bridesmaids, that comes from Coach Taylor. But, I truly met the best people that I could have never imagined meeting, and some of my very best friends, and I've got to play with them for 3 years, and I've got to live with them for 3 years, and, all the crazy adventures that we've been on, and the ups and the downs, and having them with me through it all has been really, really special. Yeah, and I think playing beside your best friends is really something special too. Being able to see that, we are all in the same place for a reason, and the success that we have is so amazing. To be able to play with your best friends and know that they've got your back is just an unreal feeling, and all the memories that come with that is just amazing. Yeah.
And so I guess as you look back on your decision to leave JUCO and to come here, and you look at, I've been now at Brevard this is your 3rd year, what makes this the right decision? And if it was the right decision for you, why was that?
Yeah, I think, the JUCO life is so different, right? Yeah. It is just absurd compared to here, right? We played 40 games in the fall and 40 games in the spring at JUCO, and it's here, I remember my first year here, they were like, we have 23 days. And I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Right? No, not 23 games, 23 days of straight practice and then 1 game day. Mm-hmm. So it was weird to think about that. But I think, I love Scott Triplett, who is the coach at Caldwell, and he is a great man. He is a great coach. But if I could go back, 3 years ago where I was at a JUCO and I could look at him and be like, our end of year meeting where he's like, do you want to stay or are you going to leave? I think I would 100% go back and say I'm leaving. I'm going to Brevard. I just think my time here has been so special, and I think the bonds that I've created off the field and on the field, and the coaches, they're just amazing people. They've really helped me grow through a lot. I think your college years are some of the toughest years of your life. You're learning who you are. You're learning what you want to do. You're learning how to be a good human. And I think sometimes, as we grow up and get older, there's some people, and I think I was one of them. I wasn't always a great human. I was very selfish. I was very, cocky, and I was, a cocky 19-year-old, and I was like, I'm the best, blah, 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 blah. But coming here and realizing that you have to be humble and you have to know that you're good in the same time, finding that balance of that you're good, but you're also humble. It's it was very hard, but I think the coaches and, my best friends and playing with people that were in the same boat as me, it really helped me realize, big life lessons in that aspect of things. But yeah.
Definitely, 100%. I definitely can attest to that understanding. I like that ending there. You just realize, putting a light to yourself.
Right.
And being like, there's a lot to grow in.
Yes.
Is a big part of this growing up part.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that answer because, again, like, nobody yet has told me that they wish they didn't come to Brevard.
Right.
But everybody has their reasons. And those are some of my favorite parts of these interviews, and getting to hear why you chose to come here and why it worked out for you.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, Mr. Regan, there's one last thing we have to do before we get out of here.
Okay.
And so I need you to forget I'm here.
Okay.
Gone. I'm closing my eyes because if I can't see you, you can't see me. If you look, I want you to look dead into that camera right over there, the one that's looking dead at you.
Okay.
And I want to give you the opportunity, Mr. Regan, to think about all the people in your life, the ones that matter to you the most, those who may be here, those who are back home, who have got you to the position that you are in today, who have made you the woman you are today, and the people that you know are going to be backing you to get to where you're going in the future. And just give you the opportunity to say what you would say to them. If they were all standing right there, if they were that camera, what is it that you would want to say to them? And I just want to give you that time, that opportunity.
Hey guys, thanks for supporting me. I love you all. You all have made me the woman that I am today, and I could not be any more blessed to have all these amazing people in my life, and you guys will be with me until my last day.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Oh, that was so sweet and short.
Yeah.
That's one of the best phrase ones. Y'all be with me till my last day.
Yep.
In heart and in a genuine way.
Yep.
That's awesome. Wonderful,
Yeah.
Regan. Well, I want to take my time. You're my camera for now, and say thank you to you.
Thank you,
for
Alex.
coming and joining me and letting this be an opportunity to come and interview you. You could have said no, but you said, oh goodness. That's that cough.
It's a cough. I got you. I got you.
It's that pollen, man. It's always the darn pollen. That being said, though, thank you so much. Genuinely, I appreciate you for coming here and joining me. With that being said, as always, y'all, this has been senior softball number 9, Regan Winkler. Thank you so much for joining us. And before we go NATOs.
Go NATOs.